for someone younger. I actually don't worry about that because I know how the family courts are. It's more so the fact that like my women's satisfaction in marriage, we have a lot more autonomy over that than we think because we end up leaving most of the time.
Bruh, don't tell me this motherfucker this whole time you couldn't hear me. Bruh, I be hating that shit. Why the fuck does this shit change so much, G? Don't be making no fucking sense. What the fuck, bruh? Been sitting here watching this shit. There's been some good shit too, man. Oh, bruh. That happened earlier, bruh. I'm so tired of these damn mics and shit changing around. I don't know what's going on with Streamlabs. Streamlabs pissing me the fuck off. Streamlabs ain't shit, bro. This mug pissing me off, bro. I don't know why I didn't notice the sound levels not going, bro. Why didn't I notice it, bro? Anyways.
I think 80% of the time women are the ones causing a divorce.
It's 90% if you're college educated.
Wow. Okay. So, Pearl, weigh in on this. Go ahead, because you've been kind of quiet. You've been waiting but what you do is you red pill women. So, but are you married or no?
No, I'm not married.
Okay. Are you in a serious relationship right now or no?
I'm not.
You're not. Okay. So we have a single woman, we have a married woman, and a woman in a relationship, but not married. No. We couldn't ask for a better panel, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to our booker here. Go ahead, Pearl.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
Yeah, just basically what you stand for.
What I stand. Well, I grew up in a more like traditional family, and I really appreciated it. That like my goal is to get married, and I think my life like it wouldn't be complete if I didn't have a husband and family. Like that's how I feel about it.
So you're saying your goal is to get married?
Yes.
Okay, that's your goal.
Yeah, I mean, I have other goals too. Like,
all right. What are your other goals?
My other goals, I want to hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, so you guys should help me out with that.
Help her out. Just Pearl, right?
Just pearly things.
Just pearly things. Let's get that going. All right. So number 1 on your list is marriage. Number 2 is that a career?
Yeah, YouTube.
Okay, yeah. So the career is in a backseat to marriage.
Yeah.
Okay, and Allie, for you, was marriage number 1 on your list?
My dream in life was to be a housewife and to do some kind of work from home. So I would say like I made it.
You're living your best life.
Living my best life. All I'm missing is the babies. They're coming next.
Are they coming next?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We just bought a house, so we have to fill it with humans. You know.
You gotta fill that with humans.
Can I actually add something else too? My dad is like a top 1%. Like he's very, very successful. And my mom was actually supposed to be a teacher, and she quit that to go work for my dad. And they ended up building like a multi-million-dollar business and having 10 kids. And
10 kids?
Yeah, and 10 kids. So
wow.
You're one of 10.
Yeah, I'm one of 10.
Wow. And what does your dad do?
So he owns a software company.
Got it.
And I just think that, in order to accomplish anything, there's always going to be risk. And I got to see the benefits of my mom taking that risk. Like it might not have worked out. She had to move to him. She had to leave her school and quit her job. But
so your dad is a owner of a software company. Your mom was going to be a teacher, or she was a teacher, and she said, you know what? Let me jump off the teaching trail. I'm going to go work for my boss, who also is my husband, and it worked out well.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Coco, what's your goal? Is your top goal to be a wife, to be married? What's your top goal?
My top goal is to create...
My top goal is to be mortal. Strong woman who fights better in forest.
To be married? What's your top goal?
My top goal is to create a company. I mean, my goal is to... I used to study journalism, so I love the media world, and currently I'm starting a podcast, so I want to work in the media space, but I want this to be my thing, and I want this to be something that nobody can take away from me. So like if I'm somebody's wife, one day he can just be like, okay, well, what if he bankrupts or something? Then what? Your life is over if you don't have anything that you're doing on the side. But I also feel like you're not just a housewife because you are doing your content, correct?
But that...
Whoa. Individualism.
Pales in comparison to the work that I did before. Like it's a night and day difference.
You said you were in the Army.
Yes, I was in the United States military.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of women, they'll talk about, like working hard. I'm like, have you ever been to the woods for 30 days on end, like no shower and not enough food? It's not fun. So I would say, yes, I work and I do content creation, but I'm going to be real. If you're intelligent and you can figure out a business model and you can figure out what people want to hear, to an extent, I do like to provide value because I don't want to sell women a lie. If you can do that, I mean, work smarter, not harder. You can really reduce your work hours. So my husband does so much for me, and I don't want to act like that my channel would be possible if I did it myself. It's not true. Like I would refer to him as like my primary financier for my channel. Like he makes the platform happen, and I'm proud of that.
But you still work though. Like you work for your content, so you're not just a housewife.
Coco, it's not a hard job.
But
What's not a hard job?
The content creation for me.
So you think it is a hard job? Is that what you're saying?
I think it is definitely.
Because this is your
job.
full-time gig.
Yeah.
You're a content creator full-time.
Yeah.
Your full-time job is being a housewife / content creator. But
Yeah,
first job is...
That's because the chick who married looking at content creations is just playing around. She said if you intelligent, she went to the Army, meaning like pretty sure the Army taught her some type of, some damn type of vocational skills, you know what I'm saying? Like come on now. Like you can't be in the Army and not know at least motherfucking how to sit at a goddamn desk, fill out some motherfucking paperwork, you know what I'm saying? Show up the goddamn formation on time, XYZ. So, shit, she like, what you mean?
As being a housewife.
Yes.
well,
Okay.
I mean, even if you're just like, if you say just a housewife, like you're still creating culture. Like you don't understand what goes into that. Like my mom had traditions that we did every single year.
I know what goes into being a mom. Like my mom is a great mom. She always worked, and she raised me and my brother like really well, I would say. And she always worked, but she also had time to raise us.
I know, but why do we reduce it to?
Nigga, what the fuck vocational? Nigga, what the fuck did I say? I said vocational skills. Nigga, what the fuck vocational mean any damn way? My ass just saying shit for vocational. Oh, training, vocational training, education and skills training programs that prepare people for a job, trade, or craft. Yeah. Like, yeah, I was right.
Like just a housewife.
No, I didn't say just.
You said that earlier.
Okay, maybe I don't remember.
Well, a lot of women do that. Just a housewife.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry to cut you off. I actually said, I'm not saying that's. I actually said that being a housewife is a difficult job and raising kids is a difficult job. I said that, so maybe I don't know what I.
But
You heard.
it's probably still something that like should be addressed because women wouldn't feel like they were just a housewife if they married the wholesome Chad that they wanted in the first place. And that's where my channel comes in because women get a lot of bad dating advice. And it's like dating advice that teaches you how to date, but it doesn't teach you how to hopefully get married and stay married. Like that's it. Like all they can do is get you a date. Well, not every guy that takes you out for a meal is looking to commit. And that's a big problem that I see. I think millennial and Gen Z women were really left behind by Gen X mothers. I had a bone to pick with them.
With Gen X mothers?
Oh yeah, they're like the Kraft mac and cheese generation. They suck. They did not set their daughters up well.
Why? Go deeper on that. How do you mean?
Well, you can just tell. So it started with the baby boomer generation, and then I want to say the Gen X, but then baby boomers were rebellious against the silent generation. They thought they were old fashioned. They thought they were too set in their ways with
that's the Woodstock
roles.
generation, the baby boomers, exactly.
Yeah. And so you get like these Gen X mothers. They are so narcissistic, and they think that you, the daughter, you're just gonna find a man. I lived in my house with my mother for 19 years, and not once did the conversation come up. What is a good wife? What is a good husband? How do you find one? And I started asking my other girlfriends when I had like an epiphany. I think I was 25. I started asking them, I'm like, did your mother ever talk to you about this? And most of them are telling me no, that it wasn't a conversation. So that's kind of how I've been able to figure out that, like, yeah, Gen X mothers, y'all did us dirty for sure.
Now, a word that is popping into my head is the concept of fear.
Yes.
Like, you're fearful that because you said that you were a stay-at-home girlfriend or whatever.
No, I never said that. No.
You said you didn't do. You said you were a girlfriend, didn't do anything. That's exactly what you said.
I never said that.
What
I was
did you
a girl.
say?
No, I said at some point in my life I was dating somebody and I was his girlfriend.
Right.
But I still worked.
Okay. Well, I thought your job was to be a girlfriend.
No,
Apologies.
no.
But part of
I thought that was the whole point, the whole reason why she was supposed to be upset. If you had a job, then what you mean? I didn't want to just be somebody's girl. Did you want to get married and he didn't want to get married? Listen, come on.
What I'm understanding, you tell me if I'm crazy here, if I'm spot on, is the fear that if you don't have a career, the fear of, well, my man could leave me, or I don't have a fallback plan. And it seems like, and rightfully so, you're fearful of that, so you want to have your own career. Whereas Allie is like, yeah, I get it, that is a fear, but I'm not going to let that get in the way of me being a good wife and being kind of more submissive. Do I have that right, or am I going crazy here?
I'm not building my career because I'm scared that my boyfriend's going to leave me.
Okay, so why are you building your career?
Because I want to be successful and I want to pursue my dreams. And my dream is to be a media person.
So let me ask. I'll get back to that. Now, is fear? Did I use this word correctly? Is that do you think?
My dream is to be a media person. My dream is to be internet famous. That's all she said, basically. I don't want to be with my boyfriend because I want to be internet famous. Bitch, you can be internet famous and have a motherfucking boyfriend. What the fuck?
You think women have this fear?
Yeah, but it's a made-up fear. It's a boogeyman fear. Family courts are gonna favor women like astronomically. And then I've had women come out and they're like, well, I got divorced and I didn't get anything. My first question is, who filed? So you're mad that you decided to leave him and then you couldn't get his money? Like, I'm sorry, I don't feel bad for you. If it was if those resources were that important to you, you could have worked it out. And that's not to speak on relationships where there's DV involved. Okay, like everybody knows that's wrong. Like, again, a boogeyman concept. But
What did you say? DV?
Domestic violence.
Oh, gotcha.
Right. I'm trying to algorithm.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was a thing. Okay, DV.
Well, and
yeah.
you can always just get a job after you get divorced. Like, it's
Right?
not like you're banned from working just because you're a little bit older. Like, I built this YouTube channel. Like, I started a show 3 months ago, and I got 30,000 subscribers this month. Like,
Boom. And how'd that happen?
What, you work hard, and I could do that at 45 too. So I don't know why. Like, if you get divorced, you can still get a job.
Let me pose a question to you ladies. Let's say you don't get married. Let's just say. And you're 40 years old and you've got an amazing career, but you never got married. Would that be disappointing to you?
I would be disappointed. For me, marriage is not that important anymore. I want to have a partner and I want to be with somebody. I would like to get married and get engaged and, you know, build this life with someone.
Okay.
But that's not something that's my like sole purpose in life.
So if you were 40,
Yeah.
never got married, no kids. I'm just hypothetical, no kids, but you had.
Why do women act like if you get in a relationship and that's all you gonna do forever? Like, it's like if I go to work at Subway, then that's all I'm gonna do forever. And every day, all day, it's gonna be nothing but Subway. I'm never gonna get away from Subway. Like, why do women be acting like that when it comes to like relationships and marriages? Like, but you gonna read a Harry Potter book or something.
Had a good career.
I would like to
Would
have
that be
kids.
enough to satisfy you?
I always wanted to be a mother. So
Okay.
I want to be a mom before I'm 40.
Yeah.
Because of like all the.
Of course.
You know?
No, that's why I posed it that way.
So I would definitely want to be a mother, and I would be disappointed if I'm not a mother by 40.
Okay. How about you, Allie? If you never got married and you're still working on your career, let's say you're an influencer, but you're still single, would that be a disappointment?
That would absolutely be a disappointment. That's not how I want my life going down at all. And, you know, there's something to be said about if you don't have babies, your DNA doesn't go on. And you're really just kind of like, well, you know, life is pointless. I think kids give women purpose. And I think that we lie to women when we tell them that that's not true, that your job is going to fulfill you. It's not the same thing as watching a tiny human grow, look up at you and learn. But, you know, I've noticed.
I ain't gonna lie. As a man, though, that is something I be thinking about a lot. Like women do not be caring about that shit no more. The simple fact that, like, we trying to pass on our genes and shit. Like, we trying to keep our generations, our own families. Man, move this motherfucking goddamn name thing. I moved it down. So you can motherfucking get a motherfucking see my motherfucking what is it? the chat box, but ain't nobody in this bitch. Ain't nobody in this bitch. You know, let's put it right there. Anyways. But yeah. I forgot what I was gonna fucking say. Wait, she was talking about kids, wasn't she? What she was talking about?
I think that life is pointless. I think kids give women purpose.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, must be acting like that we don't want to carry on, like, our DNA and shit. Like, I be thinking about it, bro. I'm like, right now, I'm like 28, right? So, more than likely, like, by the time I'm going to get, like, erectile dysfunction in maybe, like, 15 to 20 years, bro. That's like, I'm going to be, like, 50, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy, motherfuckers talking about I'm going to have it by, like, 60, 50. Like, ain't that far away. And women supposed to, like, not be able to bear children for real, like, after 35? Like, damn, bro, that's 7 years away. Like, allowing, like, they at-risk women, I guess. But, like, because my ex was just talking about that, too. And I was like, dang, you know, we pretty fucking old and we ain't got kids. Like, we're not fucking old, but, like, we getting there, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like we don't make women think about the simple fact that these years, you know what I'm saying, these little 18 years, 25 years that they're gonna have to possibly raise a kid, you know what I'm saying? Like, motherfuckers don't think about the fact that, damn, you know, you gonna have to make a transition. You have to pick something in life to do, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you ain't gotta give up your whole entire life to raising the kid or, like, following the man or some shit. But at the end of the day, you fuck around and get the land on your back at 18 or shit, or 16, whatever the consent age is. Goddamn me, by 22 you got a kid. I mean, at that point you got a family. Once you got a kid, you got a family. You know what I'm saying? That's what I always thought about as a man. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to take care of my kid. You feel me? So once it happens, that is what it is, and life has changed. But I don't think nobody teaches women that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, bam, you got this kid now. You got responsibility. Like, that's what she was saying. Like, she was saying earlier, like, what is you leaving him for? You know, especially, like, she was saying, the other chick was talking about love. Oh, if you ain't got love no more. I think I was watching the clip. That's why I turned this on. But they don't get to that on this episode, though.
I think that we lie to women when we tell them that that's not true, that your job is going to fulfill you. It's not the same thing as watching a tiny human grow, look up at you and learn. But, you know, I've noticed sometimes that women will say that they want kids, but they won't say that they want a specific man's kids. And I think that's an important distinction.
How do you mean? What's the distinction there?
So, okay, for people that follow my content, they're pretty familiar that I had a miscarriage earlier this year. I ended up going to Facebook support groups because I don't know who else to talk to about that stuff. I ended up going there, and I found two very different schools of thought. There are women that were married and in relationships where they wanted to have children, but it didn't work out. But then there were other women that were grieving, but they're just looking for a guy to get the job done. Like, they're literally hunting for men to impregnate them. And they haven't given a thought, well, I mean, what's the cost going to be to the child? So I think, like, if we're going to talk about women wanting to have children, and that's, like, in the plans, then, like, you know, I know sperm is cheap, but we still need it. We still need it. So, you know, what's up with the guy? Where's he at? How are we going to get him?
Okay, and then Pearl, if you're 40, YouTube blown up, million subscribers, you killed it, but no husband, no kids, would that be satisfying?
None of it would matter. Like to me, if you have nothing to pass on, and like who cares if you're rich if you're alone? Like,
I agree with that.
You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have like a family to go home to, that's sad. I did this thing where I interviewed executives, like top executives in Milwaukee, and there was a couple that I interviewed that like had no family, no kids, and you could just see how sad they were. And like, who cares if you have all the success if you have no one to share it with? Yeah,
that makes me think. I have a couple of friends down here in South Florida. They're both, I would say, very successful estate planners, right? So high-profile lawyers, estate planners. And they were both, you're familiar with the concept of DINKs, dual income, no kids?
Oh, yes.
DINKs. And they're both, you know, crushing six figures easily. and they were not going to have kids. And then, lo and behold, I think after like 10 years of marriage, they decided to have kids. Now they're on their second kid because they realized, holy shit, I don't know what I was thinking here, okay? By the way, is this discussion that we're having right now, is this something that women sit around and discuss?
No.
This is not.
just
Okay.
And I know that because I grew up with two, like both, like none of the men in my family, like the older men stayed around. They all left. So like, when I grew up, on both sides of my family, mainly all I did was sit around all women. The shit that women talk about on the regular is bullshit. It's bullshit. Even dudes, like I'm not sitting here acting like everybody talks about good shit to be talked about or whatever, but at least the dudes talking about like pushing each other, motivating each other if they talk about anything decent. You get what I'm saying? Ooh, if you think of what is a decent conversation for a woman, you don't fucking know. We have no idea.
Why is this not like guys? We will shoot. Yo, what up, bro? See that girl? Yeah, here's what I'm thinking. Yeah, like why don't women have these types of discussion? Why does it take Sozcast on Valuetainment, subscribe right now, to bring this type of conversation to the forefront? Why don't ladies have this discussion?
Wait,
you
what
want
do
to
you
weigh
mean?
in?
What, ladies don't have what conversation?
This discussion right here, they both nodded their head and said, "No, they don't talk about this." Do you talk about this kind of stuff with your friends?
Stuff like wanting to
Career
get married.
woman, getting married,
Oh yeah,
being
of course.
being a housewife
Of
rather than an
course.
independent woman. So
We-
you're
we
saying you
don't-
do have these conversations.
We don't really talk about all of I try to surround myself with people who are very ambitious and career driven, so I can learn from them and like we can all build each other up. So, but we never talk about like, oh, if I don't get married, if I don't do this, like we're all talking about just like
so
building a career.
You ready to take some calls in a second, Natalia? One sec. But one of the terms that I constantly hear, because I'm asking all sorts of people, what specifically women, on traits or qualities they find attractive in a man, and a term that constantly gets put out there is ambition. He's ambitious. Oh my God. He hasn't made it yet, but he's ambitious. He's got some drive. He's got ambition. It's attractive quality. I don't know if men are like, oh, that girl right there, she's ambitious. I love how ambitious she is.
They're not.
No,
Okay,
they
so
don't care.
guys
My
don't care
boyfriend
about
does.
that.
My
Your
boyfriend
boyfriend,
does.
he
Yeah,
loves the
boyfriend.
fact that you're
Yeah.
ambitious.
Yeah.
But you said boyfriend. Is it
Yeah.
meaning that's not her husband? How do you mean?
I would be curious, right? So if Coco and this guy, right, they end up working out in the long term. If he's a masculine man, I would wonder if you'd be in the kitchen making some breakfast.
We both make breakfast. I made it today. He made it yesterday.
Okay. I mean,
I
if
can
that's what
show
works
you
for you guys.
photos.
No, I don't need photo proof. I'm just saying I would be curious to see if that femininity switch would flip for you.
So is there a switch that women have to basically tap into? Is that what you're saying?
I think women should consider femininity from the beginning, but the West is just really awful at it. I think Eastern culture has femininity figured out way more. But I think some women, they're ambitious, boss babe, that's all I care about. But then they meet a strong masculine man.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, you know what? Like, maybe I'll work part-time. You know, how do you want your steak? Medium rare? What kind of side do you want? I've seen it happen in real time. Women that are like, I would never serve a man. And then they have the hot plate in their hands.
I cook for my man.
Yeah.
I have no shame in admitting that. I mean, in Europe, we learn how to cook. Like, every woman pretty much knows how to cook. But that's not something that, like, I'm not gonna not work because I need to make a meal. Like, making a meal is something very normal in my life.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
there's a difference between making a meal and making a home.
Yeah. I can
Explain that, please.
Well, I mean, a maid can like clean for you, a cook can cook for you, but only a wife can make a home. So that's like family traditions, culture, and like what are you passing on to your children?
Gotcha. So that's, again, your dream life is to be, happy wife, happy life. But your dream, like, forget about 1 million subscribers. You want to make a house a home.
Yeah, I just want a lot of kids. Like, I think I'm pretty cool, so I feel like if there was like 5 of me running around, it'd be like, it'd be even cooler.
You ready for what kind of super? By the way, guys, in the super chat, we're going to be answering your questions today. We're these women as I just want to thank you guys for being here, and everyone has a different opinion, respect. Everyone's getting along great, but I do want to answer some of the questions from valuetainers out there in the audience. Natalia, you got some?
It's like, why is old girl just so angry, bro?
Why would a man that values marriage want to marry you? That's a question.
To who?
Who, me?
just in general.
Oh.
If you guys
Why? Okay,
You
this
looked
is
at me, so I'm like, what?
so why would a man who values marriage want to marry
marry
you?
you.
Okay, go down the line here. Coco, you go first.
Why would a man who values marriage would want to marry me?
Yes.
I'm not really sure if I understand that question.
So a guy who wants to get married,
Yeah.
why would he want to marry you?
Oh, so basically you're asking me what it brings to the table, or is that the question?
I get, is that what it is? Sure. And we'll go down the line. This you're not being singled out.
Yeah, okay, no, I know. Well, it's a very strange question, honestly, for me. But I would want to marry somebody that I see building. If I'm with my boyfriend now, and I see marrying him one day, if we get to that point, because he is a good partner. He helps me do certain things, and I help him. And it's easier to live life with somebody. But that's not like my end goal. Like, I'm not gonna put everything on the side so I can like live life with someone. But you know, when you're grocery shopping, it's nice to do it with someone. I don't know if that answers.
So your answer is like, look, I'm gonna be a good.
And you can tell she don't give a fuck. That's somebody. See, that's why as a man, you know, you gotta really, really be looking into the attitude of the woman, because it sounds like, you know what I'm saying, like, yeah, she probably there, but at the end of the day, he don't get an emotional value, that good connection from her probably, because she don't even care about having that connection with him at the end of the fucking day. So it's like, how can you expect that to go well long term with that type of attitude?
Partner. I'm gonna bring my.
I like.
I'm gonna bring something to the table, but
Yeah.
you're gonna bring something to the table.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do this together.
Yeah, and also like I always like him and I currently like we things that he's good at, I'm not, and vice versa. And also like I totally agree, a woman should be able to make a home, because guys don't really know how to make a home.
Yeah, I agree.
They don't know
I
how
don't know what I'm
to
doing.
how to
What?
decorate the apartment. They don't know the flowers are.
What the fuck? They ain't got shit.
Nice in the apartment. They don't know that like your utensils should match and shit. So like, you know.
I'm guilty of all that, by the way.
Yeah.
Ali, why would a
Nigga, that's what makes a home, nigga. Organization, etiquette. Alright, bro.
man, or why did your husband want to marry you?
Why wouldn't he marry me? No, I'm kidding. So it's basically, my perspective on marriage is a little bit interesting. Being in that feminine role where I fully depend on my husband, I believe that gives him purpose. So I think that he's had a greater sense of appreciation for the work that he does. So it's more fulfilling, and he can cope with the stress more because, well, you know, he's doing it for me and he's coming home to me. Also, I make sure that he's rewarded for his hard work and his efforts. He pretty much can lean on me in times of trouble, but also we can also enjoy each other in times of great joy. And that's a really fun thing. A lot of people don't know this. My husband was a 50-year-old bachelor. Well, 48-year-old bachelor when I met him. So he tells me even now that I add value to his life. And when I think about marriage as a business, it's like, you know, Drum It Incorporated. How can I make our brand, our family, our business, how can I make it so that we can thrive? How much bigger can we make this Drummond household name? And that's my approach to marriage. So if you want a really good hard worker as your wife, like, that's what I think I bring to the table.
Got it. And follow-up question before we get to Pearl. You said your husband, when you met him, he was 48.
Yes.
And now he's 50, so you've been
Yes.
married, give or take, 2 years.
We're together 2 years.
Was he successful before he met you?
Oh, I think he was very successful. Oh, yes. I hung out at the finish line and I got a winner.
But that's a thing.
I do think it's a thing. And so,
Eric, can you turn me up a little bit? I'm down a little bit.
so when I met him, he was very accomplished in the military. That's the thing, is a lot of women wouldn't think that my husband makes enough money, but I'm a badge bunny. I'm like a masculinity honey. That's what I'm looking for.
What is a badge bunny?
A badge bunny is a woman who likes cops, firefighters, service members.
Gotcha.
So
A man in uniform.
Yes, a man in uniform. So he's a major, and he's got all these shiny medals, and I'm like, sir, pick me, marry me, choose me. And yeah, so I know that a lot of women wouldn't think that he makes enough, but we live in the Midwest, so it's like more than enough money to go around. And then, you know, I've got the muscles to make up for it. So
There you go. All right, Pearl, why would a man want to marry you?
I do my best to be an asset in a guy's life in whatever way that I can. So with my last boyfriend, I was always like cooking and cleaning, and I'd like manage some of his business stuff. So when I'm like going into a relationship, I always think about like what can I do to help this guy like his life be easier day to day.
I think that's what if you're in a partnership, you should always try to find. I feel like I'm something.
Yeah, Eric, if you can hear me, is the volume?
That's a train, yeah.
Okay, but so we're good on the volume?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, gotcha. Because we all sound a little low,
Yeah.
all of us. So I don't know if you can turn that up, as you were.
I'm sorry. How did you finish? I forgot.
Oh, I was just saying that I think it's important to be an asset to a guy's life.
Yeah, I definitely agree with women being in a relationship, and you don't have. I'm definitely not for splitting bills and all that, but you need to contribute. You need to be of value, but not just in a relationship. In life, like if you're with a partner, you should do stuff together. Like, okay, maybe he's cooking. You said you were cooking and cleaning. Well, was he doing anything, or he was just there?
You know, these type of conversations, bro. I still debate on whether or not I would do the she ain't gotta pay bills or the she should pay bills. Cause if she ain't paying bills, it's like I'm living by myself and like I gotta stand with me. But if we splitting the bills, then I guess I get to keep some money in my pocket. She get to feel like she contributing to the household. And I mean, I feel like there's nothing wrong with that because we're in like this modern age where women work too. You know what I'm saying? Like women and men work. You know what I'm saying? I guess unless every woman's goal really is to not work at all, you know, I guess. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But like I don't know. I feel like I could do either one, I guess. I mean, it's just like having your own place and somebody staying with you. But the good thing about being in a relationship is you only need motherfucking one room for real, for real. I mean, you can do two, but you only need one.
No, he was doing other things.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
can I go a follow up with you?
Yeah.
And you tell me, yo, hey, that's too personal.
Okay.
Hey, I don't know, I want to go there. But you know, Allie married the guy that she was dating.
Mm-hmm.
Coco plans on marrying, I guess, the guy that you're dating. That's something you envision. But you were being an asset to your relationship, cooking, cleaning, being an asset, but you didn't end up marrying him. So is that like, you know, I kind of was being the asset, but it didn't work out, so I kind of regret it?
No,
What are your
I
thoughts?
don't regret that. No. I mean, I think I could have had that if I wanted. I just didn't see it long term. So.
Did you break up with him or he broke up with you?
No, I ended
Oh,
it.
you ended it?
Yeah, I just didn't see it long term.
Wow.
And I think a lot of girls waste their 20s with guys that are like boyfriends and not husbands, and I just didn't want to do that. So yeah, I ended that, but I don't regret doing that because I think one, it gave me like relationship skills. So I understand a little bit better like how I can help a guy in the future.
Let's talk about this girls wasting their 20s.
Okay.
And how old are you, by the way?
I'm 25.
You're 25.
Yes.
You are?
27.
20. Coco?
31.
31. Okay, so you guys are in mid-20s, early 30s. I've been very vocal about this. I'll, as a guy, waste your 20s as much as you'd like. Your 20s are your time to fuck up, make mistakes, do stupid stuff, date the wrong girl. As a guy, you're able to do that. As a girl, you can do that in your early 20s. You do not want to do that in your late 20s, okay? Let's talk about that. Why is it important for a girl to actually not waste their 20s?
Well, your value decreases as a woman the older you get, and your opportunity to give a man children is less and less the older you get. Yeah, you can have IVF, but most guys don't want to spend like, what is it, $30K?
It's $16K. And
16K,
it doesn't
yeah.
even work most of the time.
Yeah. So I mean, if a guy can pick, you know, a 35-year-old woman or a 25-year-old woman, he's gonna pick the 25-year-old woman.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why? Because of the ability to be fertile?
Yeah, partially. And like men, they surveyed men between the ages of like 20 and 80, and all of them prefer girls around the age of 22, 23.
Yeah, this is what Rolo was saying.
Yeah.
Sexual marketplace.
So, I mean, I think there's other things.
Sexual market value. I don't want to mess that up.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's other things that come into play, but I think men when it comes to building a family. And you also have the issue of, the more relationships that a girl has been in, the more traumatized she's going to be. The more exes she has to complain about. Yeah, and that just happens the older you get.
Well, let me actually give you a different side of the coin, because I remember you were very open about this. You said you are so much better of a woman as a female, as a girlfriend at 30, 31 as you were at 24. Yeah. Explain why.
I feel in your 20s, you're starting to learn who you are, and you see what you like and what you dislike. And I think that in your 20s, you shouldn't be dating somebody, like if you're 21, 22, you should not be in a relationship for like 5 years. Really? I think you should, if it happens, great, good for you. But I think that you should explore who you are as a person, and by that you can also date multiple guys, so you can see what you like, what you dislike.
So you think that a woman who's 21, 22, she gets out of college, she should go through her hoe phase?
Never said that.
I said it.
You did. No, I never said you should go through a hoe phase.
You said date multiple guys. So
I did not say it has to be. Oh, but we know what I mean. I think you should live your life and see who you are. So then later on, when you're ready and when you're emotionally mature, because when you're 21 too, you don't know what the fuck's going on. At least I didn't. I mean, I moved here when I was 22. So in this past 8-9 years, I changed a lot because I learned who I am. What if I got married to a guy that I was dating when I was 21, 22, because my goal in life was to get married, I didn't know who I am. Okay. So how can you get married and be with somebody, but you're not even sure who you are?
Yeah, so how do you guys grapple with that? Because you're basically saying the exact opposite thing that she's saying. So would you guys engage and have this conversation?
I don't understand what that means. You don't know who you are?
You're trying to figure out what you want in life.
Like, I've always known who I am.
Well, not everybody is the same.
I just don't get what girls mean when they say that.
Why? What is it? Like, they want to... I mean, I get it. They kind of want to figure it out before
I can relate. So... I think there's some truth to some of the things that Coco says, because one of the reasons that Pearl probably knew who she was when she knew it is because you had really great parents. You were in a well-rounded 2-parent household. But I actually don't agree entirely with the red pill about, oh, go ahead and get out there and get a husband as young as you can. I think you have the most leverage in your youth. I can agree to that. I think you have a lot more options at 20 to 24, but I can say that I don't think most American women know themselves until they're 24. And then, I mean, even after that, like, there's a lot of narcissistic, clueless women running around out here, and they're going to be a liability. The problem is that they let the narcissism run its way into their 30s, and they're surprised, like, why didn't my life work out? It's because you need a reality check. And I think that's why Pearl and I have the content that we do, to just give women a heads up. Like, hey, like, your 20s, you could really be on a mission. So you want to talk about, oh, I want a career and I want a husband. Okay, fabulous, amazing. Set it up by 24. If you're hard charging and you're an intelligent woman, you can set it up at 24, and then you can pursue dating full force.
Can you define this set it up by 24?
Have a foundation of platform. You can have a bachelor's degree if you want. You can have internships. You can have connections, networking, whatever you need as a foundation, so that way you've done most of the hard work, and you can still take on that relationship and continue to do harder work in your career if you need.
A question for you guys. It's an easy answer, but also a complicated answer. Are men and women equal?
No.
Men and women. Did you say no as well?
I didn't vocalize, but yeah, they're not equal.
Explain why men and women are not equal. Go ahead. Allie, you want to go first?
We're just not the same. We're not the same. And if we're not the same, then how could we be equal? So we can talk about, women being equal, but I'm not even sure that that's a worthwhile conversation, because there's always going to be somebody that has advantages in different areas compared to yourselves. Men are stronger, and they're bigger, and they can run faster. Because I don't know if you know this, but sprinting is more about strength. Like, I can't sprint at all. And then there's things
I'll beat your ass in a race right now, girl.
right, and so I can attest to that, because a lot of women think that they're as strong as a man, and that's just not physically possible. They have so much more testosterone.
What about in the workforce? Are men and women equal?
No.
There should not be?
Professional women cry in the bathrooms a lot. I don't think men do that.
My boss did.
Your boss. Pearl, because you and Allie both said no immediately, and then Coco took a second. She thought about it. But why do you say men and women are not equal?
I didn't think about it. I just didn't say it.
Okay.
Well, men and women are different. We're not the same.
We're biologically different. Like, we're just not. Yeah.
Well, women are chemically different every single day. So even I run a pretty successful YouTube channel. I have a show similar to this setup in my living room, and I bring people in. And a lot of my business decisions are run through men. And I think a lot of times you're gonna find successful women that there's a man behind them helping them with the decisions, because men are just more logical than women because again we get our emotions into it because we're chemically different every single day.
But the counter argument that I hear is, well, you know, men have been running the world for years, and aren't all the wars started by men?
That's not true.
So this is the counter argument that you hear. Men start all the wars. World War I, World War II, French Revolution, America. It's all men starting the run. Yeah. Genghis Khan, the Mongols, they do it all.
But they also built the world.
Boom. There it is.
So they allowed us to enter the workforce. They had to tame the world so we could enter it. Like if we were still in like the old days, we would need someone to protect us.
So you guys are not male haters whatsoever. You're male appreciators.
No, I mean,
shout out to the men out there.
I have
building the world.
I mean, I have 5 brothers. So when girls say things like men are trash, men are the problem, da 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 da, I'm like, okay, you can speak for yourself. Like the men you pick are the problem. Because I have 5 really great brothers. I have a really great father, and so if you have an issue with men, like that's a you problem, and don't put that on me.
By the way, that is very powerful. Go ahead, Coco.
I want to add, just because he's a good brother doesn't mean he's a good boyfriend.
Well, yeah, but that's on the girl to pick. You pick who you date. Like, if you're halfway a decent looking girl, you have a million options of who you can date. So I'm not gonna, when these girls come crying to me because they hate all the boys they chose to date, like that's your own fault.
I mean, I agree with that. Whenever, like, I have this thing called What Will Coco Do every Tuesday and Friday, and I put a little question box and people ask me questions. And they are sending me, you know, screenshots and their issues, and they're explaining what this guy did. But I'm like, you're letting this happen. So let's say you have a guy who only invites you over for Netflix and chill, and you still show up. And then you're expecting him to, like, put you on a pedestal and fly you to Paris or something. But, like, you're letting it happen.
And those are the same girls that'll cry on TikTok and be like, oh, boo-hoo, poor me. And I'm like, I don't feel bad for you. You picked him.
This must be controversial with the women, like, you're friends with, you grew up with. This is not, like... Are they like, you're a woman hater? You're like, but I'm a woman.
Okay, I've picked bad guys before too. I'm not perfect, but in every situation I've been in, I was like, you know what? That was my own damn fault.
Wow.
It usually is our fault.
Yeah.
By the way, that is really hard to do. Whether in a relationship or in the workforce, look yourself in the mirror and be like, I gotta own this L right here.
It's because of my dad. Every time I try to be emotional, my dad is like, your fault. Your fault. And he's right. Like, I just think your lot in life, it's your own fault. And if you end up alone because you can't pick men, like, that's on you.
Agreed. No objection. By the way, you said that it took a second, but you said that men and women are not equal.
I don't like answering that question because it's just like, I just don't like answering it.
Okay. Well, they answered it.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to go to a question in a second, Natalia, but there's another word that I really want to get your guys' opinion on. And this keeps coming up in the red pill community, the manosphere. And it's a word I'm like, what does that mean? And the word...
See, the thing is, she not stupid. That's what it is. And this conversation, her being older than him, I feel like it's taking effect on her, like, mentally.
It kind of makes people uncomfortable, especially women, and that word is submissive. Okay? So as a woman, as a wife, Allie, what does it mean to be submissive?
So the word submissive has a negative connotation on it. So what would probably be more digestible for women's ears would be willful cooperation. If your man has a good program and it's trusted, proven, and justified authority in that relationship, authority with responsibility because he's responsible for the outcomes of the relationship. If you have that, you're naturally going to follow. And that's the thing about it is some women talk about, high value man. There's a lot of different components to masculinity. I can say for certain that I don't worry about my physical safety in the presence of my husband at all.
He's a strong dude. I met that guy. He shook my hand real strong. I was like, all right, buddy.
Yes, he's a trained fighter, and he's also trained with weapons. So I don't have to worry about that. So of course I'm like, let me get with this program. This program is awesome. I'd like the subscription to last for the rest of my life. And that's what women don't want to hear, but because they haven't had experience with it because they can't keep a man. But the thing about submission itself is that it has a really convoluted understanding. Your man that you quote unquote submit to, willful cooperation, you willfully cooperate with him, he has to have something bigger than himself. That is the goal. And some people break it down to religion, like that's fabulous, but I know for my relationship, my husband is not a believer, but he believes in the greater good of humanity and society, so he's always trying to do good in the world, so I don't have to worry about him going mad with power. And that's also a weird narrative that women come up with. They're like, well, what's going to happen if you give a man power? Well, like, they gave us Wi-Fi and air conditioning. I think they're doing great with power.
Well, and because they picked the wrong men to give power to, so they put that on all men. So it's like, again, they're putting your poor choices on all of us just because you can't find a man to submit to doesn't mean we can't.
So
Right, and it's argumentative women that they struggle with submission because women that are coming from 2-parent households, well-rounded. I live in the Midwest. I know a lot of women that understand that when there is trusted, proven, and justified authority, they're like, yes, I would like your help. I'm going to go with the flow on this one. But like, women just don't want to be honest that like you're not fun to be around. People are tired of arguing with you. People don't want to. People are not fighting over your invitation at the party. They would rather you didn't go.
Well, and a lot of like more feminine girls, we prefer it. Like I hate making decisions. Like honestly, like I hire a couple people now and like I hate it. It's so against my personality. If I could just have someone like do that part of the job for me, I would prefer it. Like it is so much easier as a girl like working for someone than it is like having like managing all these people.
So she used, instead of the word submissive, willful cooperation.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm so confused by that term.
Okay.
Well,
So
yeah, I would figure you're very successful. Yes.
Yes.
So it would be hard to imagine applying that work ethic, but in a relationship.
I'm still confused.
Do you think you can explain?
no, break it down. So
Do you not understand the willful cooperation or the submission?
Willful cooperation.
Willful cooperation.
I'm a Croatian, so.
Okay. So
Simple it.
So basically, it's giving your man authority, which is not something that's often done in society.
But give me
today.
an example.
Okay, so you're getting dressed, and your dress is a little bit provocative. Maybe you're a little bit ignorant on it. He says, honey, you're showing a little bit much. I don't know if you're aware. Do you mind changing? Like, would you argue with him, or would you put on a different dress?
If I think the dress looks hot, I would wear it.
Yeah, well, that's making it about you and not your relationship. That's the opposite of willful cooperation.
Okay, so yeah, that's not me.
Yeah.
okay, so let's stay there for a second, because I've dated some girls that look good in dresses, and maybe they looked a little too good. And I was like, the whole honey, does this make my butt look good? Oh, hell yeah, whatever, whatever. But you're saying, as a man, hey, babe, a little much. I don't feel comfortable with this. Would you mind changing? You would change.
I would absolutely change. And it's not just about the impression that it would have out there on the world. It's protection. Because I could get the wrong kind of attention from an unhinged man.
And what would happen if you get some attention from a man?
From a man that I don't want the attention from? I'm being sexualized by a stranger. I don't want that.
But what do you mean by attention? Somebody looking at you that like...
Men are going to look. They always look.
So what? Let them look. What?
I don't want to be sexualized by someone that's not my husband.
Okay, so why do you post stuff online? I'm sure some guys watch your stuff.
Have you scrolled through my Instagram?
A little.
It's pretty kosher. Like,
Okay.
I mean, there's some weirdos out there, I'm sure.
And when you're with a guy, you represent him. So I would never want to wear something that's like embarrassing to a dude.
No, I agree with that. I would never wear something inappropriate for a situation. But if a guy, like, I usually tell my boyfriend to choose my outfits just because he has good style. Like, he has good taste. So, like, he would never, I'm personally not like a vulgar person.
What I'm saying is, like, if he deemed it inappropriate.
First of all, what you even stop him for? He pick your whole outfit.
Like submitting is trusting his judgment, and so
no, I trust. If submitting is trusting a guy's judgment, then I agree with it.
But you wouldn't in that situation because you said no. I would still wear what I want.
If I felt that my outfit is appropriate for the occasion,
right? But that's what submitting is. It's saying even though I think it's appropriate, I'm going to trust my man to make that decision.
Okay.
But is that a slippery slope right there? Meaning,
I have a question.
When does the submission part start? Meaning, we've been dating for 3 months, 6 months. Does it start when you're official? Does it start when you're married? Meaning, if you've only been with a guy for a couple months and he's like, hey, would you mind changing? I kind of get Coco's perspective. Like, I don't know you like that, buddy.
Are you dating?
But if this is if this is your husband, according to Allie, go ahead and change, baby.
Are you dating with intention or are you dating just to date is the question. Because
define the difference.
So if you're dating with like the expressed intention on both parties to get married, okay, like you have to show him what you're gonna do in the marriage.
Okay.
So like some people just date to have fun and date around. Like I can understand not submitting to a guy if you're just dating to date, but if you want to get married, like you have to show that guy what he's gonna get when he marries you. Like,
Coco, your response.
No, I had a question for her. So I feel like you're a very family-oriented person, right? You have a big family. What would happen? Let's say you get married to a guy, and 5 years into the marriage, he gets into a huge fight with one of your family members, and he's like, I never want to go to your house again. What would you do?
Wow, that's a really good question.
Thank you.
I wouldn't choose a guy that would get between me and my family.
That's not my question. Let's say maybe there was an event, maybe people, I don't know if you guys are drinking or not,
Yeah.
you know, maybe there was a party,
Something's gonna
something
happen.
happened.
Yeah. Okay. If he was my husband, I would trust his judgment.
So you would not speak to your family ever again because of your husband.
Well, you said one family member.
Okay, maybe. Okay.
Like one we can lose. There's like 9
Yeah,
others.
like I would hope,
Like with your dad, I see you're very close to your dad. If your dad gets into a fight with your husband, what would you do?
if my dad got into a fight with my husband.
I'm pretty sure them niggas will have to talk that shit out now. Come on now. It's the dad. Come on now. You gonna think she gonna just not talk to her dad because they fought? I'm pretty sure she didn't fall home, goddamn daddy. What the fuck?
Maybe because you were very submissive, and I don't know what's your family situation. I don't want to.
She just trying to make some shit. That's bro. That's the problem, bro. That's the problem with unbearable ass women, bro. They always make up these hypothetical ass, fucked up ass situations and shit because they always thinking of the worst shit, bro.
Like,
Well,
you know?
I let my dad vet the guys that I date, actually.
But
So
I agree
so-
with that too. But things can happen down the line, like 5 years in, maybe
And
your
my dad doesn't drink either, so it's a little different.
Okay.
I think
This
that's
is a
like
hypothetical,
that's an,
though.
that's an
But
exception
it like
conversation.
Yeah.
it is. You said it's a what?
I think that's more of an exception argument. Well, what if? What
Yeah,
if?
it's
No,
like
but it's not an if because
at the end of the day-
relationships
at the
and
end-
family are going to fight.
At the end of the day, like I would, if it was my husband, I would trust my husband over my family, especially if that's someone I have a child with.
Okay.
Like that's your husband. That's who you picked. I mean,
Do you
I
feel
would
differently,
I would
Coco?
do everything,
Absolutely.
I would do everything in my power to like make that work out.
Got it. What are your thoughts?
obviously whatever the situation would be, I would try to use my own judgment first, and I would try to listen to both sides. But I see a lot in, luckily I don't have this in my family, but I hear a lot of people have issues like, oh, I hate my mother-in-law, or I can't stand my, you know, somebody in my husband's family. And it becomes like a really big issue, and it's always like a weird situation when you come into somebody's home if you're not okay with, you know, the rest of the family.
So what would you do differently? How would you handle that?
I really don't know. Like if I get, I really don't know. Obviously, the
I
things
feel
on-
like
You don't like one person, so you gotta leave. And they ain't even the person you in a relationship with. What kind of fucking sense do that make? Like, how?
each of you
situation.
are gonna go ahead and do a video after this on this exact topic. I look forward to
I
that.
would love to.
Natalia, do we have a super chat comment that you want to throw out there to the world?
We do have a few super chats.
Go ahead, pick
So-
a couple.
Okay, so we have this one by Terrell Xavier, $5. Thank you, Terrell. Men want a career to get girls. The girls are a prize for his success. What is the prize for women, and who is going to care for you when you're alive when you're 60?
Okay, so let me re-say that. Men want a career so they can have success. Women want what?
The girls are the prize for his success.
The girls are the prize for his success. Okay, and
What is the prize for women?
what is the prize for a woman? Go ahead, Pro. What is the prize for a woman?
For a woman's success.
Are you saying for success or in a relationship?
For success, like
Okay.
a woman's success.
So, okay, let me rewind. Men want success, and the grand prize is a hot woman. Women want success. What is the prize
And we're-
for that success?
And we're talking success like in their
career-wise. Yeah.
A lot of money and lonely usually.
Yeah.
Usually an empty apartment, but a lot of money to spend.
And doesn't sit well with you.
I mean, I think people are free to choose what they want to choose. If that's what you want to do, go do it. But I think a lot of women do that, and they chase the bag and they chase the career, and then they find themselves alone at 50, 60, and that's not fun. And I think a lot of older women lie to younger women about this, and that's what rubs me the wrong way. That's why I do what I do, because I just don't believe in lying to women.
How do older women lie to younger women?
Because they'll say things like the happiest sector of women is like 45 and childless, but you could find 10 studies that disprove that for the one that they have that didn't have a proper sample size. So you're pushing this narrative because you don't want to be alone in your poor choices. And that doesn't sit well with me. I don't.
So they're almost like validating their poor decisions, is what you're saying?
Yeah, and you can see it in the media all the time. Like every poor decision a woman makes, like you see it in the media. Like for example, like women gain weight, right? What body positivity? That's the next thing that comes out.
Well, we just talked about that with Jordan Peterson, Rollo. Yeah, how the one big girl was on the cover of SI.
Yeah, and I've been overweight, and that you can lose it. So why are we tripping? Why are we tripping? And they do the same thing with age now too. You see them pushing, like, what is it, ageism? That's the new word for it.
Oh yes, because the older women are upset that
because they're lonely.
yeah, they're mad that they're not getting the same sexual offers that they were getting in their youth. Shocking, yeah.
Coco, you're found success in what you're doing. Same question to you. Men find success, and the grand prize is women. What is the grand prize for being a successful woman?
Freedom and money. Because when you have your own career, you obviously make money if you're successful. Money equals freedom, so you can do whatever you want.
But to Pearl's point, let's say you're that 45-year-old woman, successful, millionaire, amazing house, couple cats running around. Shout out to the cat owners out there. But would that be fulfilling if you never got married and didn't have kids? I
don't think that you can be successful and have a husband or a boyfriend or whatever. I don't think it's either or.
You can do both, is what you're saying.
Yeah, because I see it right now. Like me and my boyfriend, we both work literally 24/7. Like we work weekends, we work all the time, but we both work from home. Okay, we both go on meetings, go on shoots, and whatever he goes do for his work, but we're still there and we're still enjoying each other. And what I love, that's why I said that what we appreciate with each other, we're both very ambitious and we talk about work a lot and we work on projects together. So it's not that he is doing his own thing and I'm doing my own thing and we don't even know what's going on in our work life.
Do you think he respects you more because you've got a lot going on?
Yeah.
They both on TikTok.
Yes, he said that he would never be with a girl who's not driven.
Got it. So respect to him. And have you ever been with a guy who found you a little much, like too work oriented, like you're a little intimidating? Have you been with a guy like that ever?
I wouldn't say that I was ever like intimidating. At least nobody told me that. But I know that a lot of guys don't like when a girl is very vocal about her opinion. And I'm very vocal about my opinion. So when it comes to being submissive, I couldn't do that because that's just not my personality. That's not my personality, and that's why I left the comfort of my own home. That's why I'm trying to do my own thing.
Go ahead, Ali.
So I have a question because you want to have this very successful career. I think earlier in the hallway you said you wanted to be a billionaire.
Yes.
And then you're saying that you're pretty much in an equal partnership. So my question is your money going to be both of yours money, or is it just going to be your money? Like how are the finances going to break down in that?
When?
Because earlier I heard you say that you wanted all of your bills paid, but then you're talking about having a career.
When did I say that I want my bills paid?
It was much earlier in the conversation. I would have to go back and rewatch it.
That I need my bills paid?
Oh, you said you didn't split it 50-50.
No, I meant for dinners.
If you're talking about equal housework, then yes. So that was my confusion. I was like, is your money going to be both of y'all's or is it just
No.
Well, let's talk about that. The money in a relationship. What should you split? What should the man take care of? What should the woman take care of? Let's talk about the money. Like, how does it work in your marriage?
Well, he pays majority of most of the bills. I have a very small income that I bring in. It's supplemental income.
He
but that's mostly
major.
because I can be fulfilled in that. I think if I wanted to make candles and make no money, I think he'd be fine with that. But that's kind of how the breakdown is. And he takes a lot of pride in doing that. He's very happy to protect and provision. And I think a lot of men don't get to have that opportunity where they could have that intimate of a relationship with their wife, female partner.
And how does the money work in your marriage? Because you said your boyfriend is pretty successful. Did I say marriage? Sorry. Your relationship. Knock on wood, girl. How does it work? You guys split rent? You guys split food bills, utility bills? Does he always pay for dinner? Like, she's being very open and honest, saying, look, he makes all the money. I'm here to support him. You've been open and honest, saying, hey, we both make money. So how do the bills break down?
Well, we kind of try to see where we're very open with our finances. So like he knows how much I make, I know how much he makes. And then we decide together what we're going to spend on what. Like he pays the rent, so maybe I'm going to pay for the car or something. So like
but he pays the rent.
Yeah.
Period. He pays the rent.
Yeah.
Well, the rent is the biggest expense that someone will have.
Not necessarily.
Well, what do you mean? Of course it's the biggest expense.
No, like groceries and the car gets
No,
expensive.
groceries are a
Do you
third.
spend on groceries?
No, I'm not. I'm not
buy
even.
a lot of organic food.
But the reality is, rent or housing is the biggest expense.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no, he
it's
pays
not-
the rent.
Okay, but being the man in the relationship, paying the rent, you're living technically under his roof. Does that qualify him to have a little more say in the relationship, or no?
No, I wouldn't say that because I don't quantify certain things. So like if he pays the rent, but maybe I'm gonna, I don't know, maybe I'm actually physically gonna go buy the groceries. So I'm gonna put my time and my effort and my energy into doing something, and he's gonna do something else.
Do you do all like the cooking and cleaning?
No.
Okay.
He's a Virgo, so he's like
So
really
what,
good
like,
at-
because he's, you know, paying the rent, that's really nice. Does he,
Yeah.
like, what does he get in return?
What does he get in return?
Dick suck.
He gets a lot in return.
Okay, like what?
Like I'm gonna keep that, I don't know, not answered.
Oh, okay.
What did you mean by that?
Yeah, I'm
I
so
just,
confused.
you, if a dude was paying my rent, like, I'd make sure that I would do the cooking, cleaning, I would do everything in the house. So I
You're
would just-
saying if a guy's paying your rent, you're doing everything.
yeah, free rent. What?
Around the YouTube channel, though.
What?
Around the YouTube channel, though.
What do you mean?
Your YouTube channel, you really enjoy that, right? So I think you would find a way to fit in your schedule, prioritizing your relationship, and while also not essentially sacrificing all of your channel.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't
looked
just
at her
do
like,
nothing. I think you can cook and clean and
This
still do other
bitch.
things.
No, but I think you guys are mishearing what I'm trying to say. Like, if he pays the rent, okay, but let me give you a whatever. Let's say the rent is 5K. It's not 5K, but let's say it's 5K. Maybe I'm gonna spend 2-3K for something else. So it's not like tit for tat. So like he pays rent, but maybe I'm gonna spend the same
so-
amount of money for something else.
So it's more like 50-50. You would
It's
say
not
you're-
50-50 because that's just not how I was brought up, and that's not how I was raised.
What would you say? 80-20?
Maybe 70-30.
70-30. Okay.
Is that a fair split?
I mean, it sounds what I believe most women would expect is the 70-30. They might not say it. And I think that 70-30 is the new 50-50 because we're going to downplay the man's money versus the woman's money, if that makes sense. I think this is essentially a modern relationship, and I don't prefer modern relationships, and I think they have, you know, their own issues because I don't think there's that sweet intimacy that is between a feminine woman and a masculine man, where you just have these understanding of your roles within the home. But some people want to gender bend and they want to do their relationships how they want to do it. I know that if I had to grow up in that kind of situation where I didn't see either one of my parents, I don't think I'd be happy with that.
And I want to just say I was in a relationship before where he was taking care of everything, and I was just like, I still had my thing going on, whatever, but like he was in control, and I felt that that was just not for me because I felt very like I don't want to hear an argument like get out of my house. Like that's not something I would ever want to hear. So I would not put myself in that situation because this just doesn't work for me.
Do you think it depends on the guy?
For sure.
So like maybe
Yeah.
that was just the wrong guy.
That's maybe definitely.
Okay.
But
You have another question, Natalia?
I have a question for Coco from Ricky Bobby, $10.
Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby. He says, Coco, I can retire you today. You
I'm
gonna be
good.
submissive?
No. First off,
So-
I would never. I'm in a relationship, so him even asking that,
But if you weren't, like, say you weren't in a relationship, say you are successful,
Mm-hmm.
say you take care of yourself and you do those things and you feel good about yourself, you found who you
Mm-hmm.
were, and you have somebody who says, hey, like, I want to retire you, you know, like, I don't want you to work anymore. I want you to be my wife.
I work because I want to work, and I enjoy.
Would you lessen your work for?
I would never do anything for another person. I used to do that when I was in my 20s.
But do you think that you that would change if you found somebody that fit all those like categories for you in that sense?
So would I stop building my dream because
Not
I
stop,
met a
but
guy?
like lessen. Maybe you put more attention to.
Maybe if I have a
for
kid,
him.
I would put more attention towards the kid,
Mm-hmm.
and I would. Like, I don't know if when I get married,
Mm-hmm.
how am I going to feel? Maybe I'm going to want to travel the world with my husband for a year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So, like, I can answer that question then. But I just don't want that kind of relationship where you have to give up who you are
Mm-hmm.
to be somebody's wife.
Isn't that any relationship? Like both parties have to make sacrifices.
You make sacrifices. You make compromise, not sacrifice, in my opinion.
I think they're sacrifices.
Yeah.
Say it again.
I wholeheartedly think they're sacrifices. There's just some things that I can't do as a wife. And I'm okay with that. Like, I can't go and to the after party with Fresh and Fit by myself, but that's okay. That's okay. I think a lot of people women have that FOMO thing. Well, what happens if I compromise my life for my man? And it's just such an empty and tired, fearful narrative that I think leads a lot of women astray. It's going to be a dark time, I think, for millennial and Gen Z women when they realize they didn't invest their money. Because most women aren't in your position, by the way. Like, most women are average income earners. So they didn't invest any money. They didn't get a relationship. And maybe they have kids. Like, that's great. But, I mean, having children by your side on your deathbed is not the same thing as, like, having your husband there. Your kids can't replace a man. And I think earlier you mentioned that you would lessen your workload for a child, but you said you wouldn't lessen your workload for a man. And so that would be
why would he ask me to lessen my workload? Like, what would he? I'm actually curious, like, what you have said. Like, so let's say what would he want me, like, not to work so I can just do what?
No, I can tell you. So what I've witnessed from men who ever ask their women to work less, and I know a lot of established military men with their wives and things like that, is because the woman has so much stress from her job, she's bringing it home, and it's making the entire household unhappy. So they're saying, take time away from that. Why don't you find something else? And that's not to say that you couldn't start your own small business from home. I mean, Coco's not going to stay home and, like, only make pancakes and eggs. Like, she's going to do something else.
She's not that type of woman.
But that's normally what I've seen why men say, you need to quit your job. Like, the ROI on this is absolute trash. You're not even really finationally contributing.
I agree with that, but, like, I work for myself, so that I do what I want to do. Like, if I want to start a podcast.
You know, it's crazy. She actually got it right. That's how I know if women be like, oh, I want to go on trips and, oh, you don't make enough money to really make for us to live, in this certain type of way or whatever. But then it'd be like, but if you working, the shit I gotta deal with from your ass, it's just like, eventually you gonna start acting like you gonna need me anyway. If you like, cause it's real easy for women to get a better job. That's number one, especially if she got some decent looks. Because men run the world. A man who wants, at least some more eye candy around the motherfucking workplace, he gonna be like, just think about it. You with her for a reason, right? So she probably look decent. Oh, we gonna hire her. Yeah. Turnover rates, hey, she gonna get in there because she look decent. Bruh. It's hard being a dude.
I do it because I want to do it. I used to work for other people, and that also didn't work for me.
But you could still overwork, and it eclipses your relationship, and it becomes a problem.
Okay,
And
but
so-
that's like a work-life balance. I
Yeah,
feel like.
absolutely. And that's what most of that conversation is about, is women have a hard time juggling. I want to say in the West, like, women are expected to do all of these things. And my message is, well, just pick a couple of things. You don't need the whole thing. You're expected to have a libido, stay physically fit, attractive, and then you have to cook, clean, you have to raise kids, and you have to be that female role in a relationship. I think that's too much.
I could do all of that.
You think it's
You won't be sleeping a lot. If you're okay with a 4-hour sleep, then you're good.
I'll have a night nurse.
Go ahead, Pro.
But also, like, I grew up in the family that, like, had everything. Like, the 1% family. It comes with trade-offs. My dad worked 80 hours a week my whole life. I barely saw him.
Yeah, that's.
I didn't really get to know him until I was older. You can't have everything. Something is going to give. So if you have a family and you want to work that much, it is going to impact your relationship with your children and your husband. Like, you can't have everything. And, now I'm okay with it because I don't have college debt.
I have a question for her. What she said before.
Yeah, go ahead, Coco or
when
Ali.
it comes to sacrifices, and you said I have to sacrifice, and I can't go for an after party with Fresh and Fit. But for me, when you're in a relationship, when you're like into your man, you don't want to go.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
So
agree,
that
but
was not
you're-
that would not be a sacrifice. That would be your choice.
So the thing about it is, even though I am married, like, I still FOMO. I'm 27 years old, and you look at the dominant narrative, and it's like I should be getting drunk in Ibiza with my girlfriends. So you get on Instagram, and you're looking around, you're like, oh man, like, maybe I am missing out on something. But I have to constantly remind myself in my marriage that, and also my husband helps me with this too. I'm like these people look happy. He's like, no, they're miserable.
I mean,
they
that's
are miserable.
Do you not go?
I hear your point there, by the way.
Yeah.
Because social media will basically tell you, don't be happy in your marriage. You're missing out. You should be in Ibiza
All the
getting
time.
drunk
But
with
do
all
you
your
not-
friends right now. You're like, no, this is where I'm happiest.
Yes.
Do you not go on trips with girlfriends because you're married?
No, I wouldn't want to, but I also
Hold
the
on,
way-
you
the way-
wouldn't go on a girls trip?
No, not unless it was with family or with Pearl. I mean, there's no way I would go
Only
on a girls
Pearl.
trip. Yeah.
No, but hold on, Allie. You wouldn't. Let's say your best friend, not Pearl. Let's say
That's me.
No, I'm just saying. Let's say you guys are friends. It's great, but it's not your only friend. Let's say another girl in that red pill community. It's all you got. You guys, Torsha.
You said there were 4 of them.
Okay, let's say there are some other friends. I suspect you have friends. You have a bunch of family.
Right.
And she's like, "It's my bachelorette party. We're going to South Beach.
No.
You wouldn't go?
No,
Wow.
bachelorette party is where women, do the stuff. The stuff
Do
that
what stuff?
they'd be hooking up with dudes.
I don't know about all that.
I was in a
Yes, they
bachelorette
do.
2 weeks ago. Nobody hooked up with anybody.
That
We
you
were,
know of.
Unfortunately.
honey, I was there.
Okay, but you're saying you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you would make a foolish decision, or your husband would be uncomfortable with the fact that you might make a foolish decision.
Right, and also I just don't want to babysit women because you'll see women do the most self-destructive things when y'all are alone on these girl trips. And you're like, Sarah, like I have to go
Oh my
see Brad at
God.
Thanksgiving. Like, please knock it off. I just don't want to be associated with that. Now, that's not to say that I wouldn't go to Pearl decides to get married and we don't want to go and do a couple of things. But you're not going to find us at the bar at 2 or 3 a.m. It's just not going to happen.
She's out there with them with that damn cloth dress, you know what I'm saying? So she real conservative and whatnot, you know.
Well, I mean, we are here in South Florida, in Miami. I see bachelorette parties all the time. I was in Austin. I saw a bunch of bachelorette parties. They're everywhere. You're saying, I mean, look, bachelorette parties, people make some crazy decisions. You're saying you wouldn't even put yourself in that situation? No. Go deeper. Why? Because of what you might do, what the girls are doing, how your husband would feel about it, a little of all the above. Explain.
It's just too much of a liability. It's really hard for me personally to have female friendships, and I've just noticed that a lot of women are self-centered, right? And so, I mean, half the women at the bachelorette party aren't even really happy for the woman that's getting married in the first place.
That's not true.
Well, I mean, I would beg to differ. Look at what happened. There's so many women that are mad at me because I'm in a happy marriage, and that's not even just something that's happened online with the viral TikTok. It's something that I deal with in real life. Going to college, being on a college campus, just hearing from women who look down on me because they're like, well, don't you want to do more than that? Don't you want to be more? But no, I'm okay with putting my relationship before a bachelorette party. That's not a no-brainer for me.
Coco, would you go to a bachelorette party if your boyfriend didn't want you to go?
Well,
No.
I was literally at a bachelorette like 2 weeks ago in Vegas. We were there for 4 days. And I feel like it all, like, you have to know who your friends are and what kind of people they.
But first of all, man, yeah, they all different. Let me get some fuck about no fucking bachelorette party, bro. Shut the fuck up.
I love you, babe, but I don't want you to go to Vegas.
If
I don't
somebody
even
else
heard
is
about
cheating
you
on their
just
husband,
talking
boyfriend,
about-
Unique persona at night.
Exactly.
The
The
Exactly.
facts come out at night.
I
What
you not.
I
does
don't.
304 mean?
What does that mean?
Oh.
Is that I remember
Right.
money right?
So, because a lot of these women that they go to these bachelorette parties, they get done up, dressed up to the nines, and they won't do the same things for their man that's at home, their boyfriend or something. So I understand you're talking about a specific class of women. And by the way, like, they're obviously the exception to the rule. I know professional feminine women, they totally exist. I get that. But most women, they use a bachelorette party as a cover-up and an excuse.
I don't agree with that because
Of
you
course
can just.
you don't. Look at the women that you're hanging out with. Like, they're not your average woman. Go to downtown Miami. Like, get
What do you
a-
mean by that? Because you mean they're more high caliber women,
I would,
or
they
that
have
they're
a-
Miami 304s?
No. So she's talking about women that are in a higher socioeconomic status, for one, and also they probably figured out that it is beneficial to their job to keep up their looks as well, right? So that is a specific class of woman. Okay, that's not that is not regular schmegular women. If you go to a regular
Like
average
that. Regular
bachelorette
schmegular.
party,
But do you think that your friends are regular schmegular?
but I'm
By the way, I'd like everybody at home right now, if you're watching this, just say 3 times regular schmegular. It's fun to say. Regular schmegular, regular schmegular, regular. It's a fun word to say.
Right.
Go ahead and do it.
yeah.
And while you're at it, subscribe to Valuetainment Money. Subscribe to Valuetainment. We love, appreciate having you here. You ain't regular schmegular. You got your mind right, as you were, Allie.
No, I'm just saying I do keep my female circle small, but that's because I have specific values. I'm very family oriented. I don't want to go to the bar, and it's hard for me to come across. You and your girlfriends might be able to pull that off, but I can't. Pearl, you have the same problem, being your age, just trying to get women to go bowling.
Well, yeah, because I don't drink, and so it's like every 25-year-old I meet just wants to go to the bars. And
Well, that's
yeah.
okay. That's just a different type of person. Like I also have a lot of friends who are just like, I mean, not friends, like acquaintances
That are what?
who are just into like chasing the party and
They ain't regular schmegular. They're looking for the party.
yeah.
Well,
I mean,
I think regular girls, that's what they do, especially at 25.
By the way, there's nothing wrong with that. Go ahead and party. This, you know, if you're 38 and still being regular schmegular, getting wasted, that you probably have a problem.
Well, I've just found that you can get more done, and like, I don't know, my life got better when I stopped drinking, like a lot better.
I hear you.
And
I
I would recommend it to anyone. To
My
be
New
honest.
Year's resolution this past year was less drinking and less cursing. And I've been getting fucking wasted. I've been messing. I'm just kidding right there. By the way, we got probably 15 minutes left. I do want to cover a couple topics. We will be taking your questions at the end of the show. Natalia on the ones and twos been doing.
I'm good. I'm good. But what did we learn? Like, what did we really learn? Shit, I guess. Shit. I feel like we ain't learned shit. But the simple fact that some women gonna be okay with, you know, making it work, and some women gonna act like they gotta do it on their own. And that's really the big problem. Like, women just act like they have to do it on their own. Like, they throw out a bunch of hypotheticals and they make it seem like, what if the world was to fall apart today? What will happen? You know what I'm saying? Instead of worrying about also y'all just building something together and making it work. You know what I'm saying? Like, dudes look over so many negative traits in women and stay with them that it's amazing to see how negative women continue to be, which only makes the relationship stale. Because, I mean, if they're at least positive, then maybe, you know, like old girl said, oh, I decided to be a better person. Maybe then shit, it will work out because at least they both trying to be better people and both trying to make the relationship work. Yeah. But hey, I mean, women only gonna do the right shit for the man they love. You feel me? Man, do I feel like watching any more videos? Man, what time is it? Oh, it's almost 1 o'clock. And not really. But I do feel like playing Magic. I want to stream the fuck out of it. That's what I'm gonna do. Might lay down. But I'm done with the YouTube videos now. Look, y'all be easy. Have a good night.